You know, I will say this, more often than not, flankers are big improvements over the original. It just seems to be how it works out. And as annoying as it is to see flanker after flanker released year over year, sometimes multiple times a year from the same brand or within the same fragrance lineup, which is crazy, sometimes they're onto something. I would say most of the time they're onto something and they're making improvements. Whether it's based off of consumer feedback or not is your best guess. I'm wagering probably not so much. I think they probably have this stuff planned out in the pipeline before they're even releasing the fragrances oftentimes. There's still a lot of times major upgrades. So, you know, if you're in the market looking at fragrances right now, I'm going to take a step back, look at my collection, and basically present to you flankers that are major improvements over the original. In this case, all of these flankers perform better than the original. Therefore, that's going to be kind of the main factor people are going to be looking at when they want to make their purchase. And so if you're after performance, this video is going to be for you. So I'm going to drop links to everything down below. I always talk about prices in these videos, and those prices are always based off of discounters unless I say so otherwise. So those discounted prices will be linked down below. We're going to get things kicked off with something super simple, very basic. This is an everyday type of scent that does not push any boundaries. It's affordable and it just works. It's Mont Blanc Legend. It's the Eau de Parfum. This version performs better in every way compared to the original Legend, which has been out for years and is very popular. Why is this DNA popular? Well, because it smells kind of similar to Abercrombie & Fitch Fierce. The only difference is the price point. These are much more affordable than Fierce. For whatever reason, over the years, even on discounters, Fierce has always been still expensive. It always confused me so much because you look at basically every other Abercrombie & Fitch scent, First Instinct and many more, Authentic and stuff, they're always 20 bucks. You go up to Fierce and now you're still paying $80 or more on discounters. It's crazy. It has woody notes, violet leaf, oak moss. It has that green oak moss, musky, woody cologne smell that Fierce is known for. It really dives in on that. So does the original Legend. Remember, that's why that one got so popular. And you could always get that original, I think, for, I don't know, probably usually $30 or so, right? Big difference in savings there. The problem is that it maybe always didn't have the best performance. However, this Eau de Parfum set out to fix that, and it did. It performs much, much better. And you're not paying a whole lot more. You might be paying, I don't know, maybe an extra $15, $20 or something for this. Not crazy, and while that might sound like a lot, when you're paying $30 for something to start and then adding on an extra 15 to 20, when you spread that out over the life of the scent, you know, the fact that you're getting better performance considerably with each wearing experience, if you have that bottle over the course of several years, I think that extra money more than pays for itself. Just eliminating that frustration of your scent basically wearing off halfway through the day. You won't have that problem with this. All right, this next one is from the brand of YSL. It is Y Eau de Parfum. You know, at this point, we are so flanker heavy in this lineup that I struggle to think of a really solid reason why you should go out and buy the Eau de Toilette anymore. Again, I was thinking about that before shooting this video. Are there any reasons to buy the Eau de Toilette in 2025 heading into 26? And I really can't come up with anything. I think we can all agree that none of us are made of money. And so when you're having to allocate your money into a hobby like this, you want to put it in the best place possible. And I just can't see a reason why you need to buy that Eau de Toilette when you're equipped with all of these other flankers. The Eau de Parfum, the Eau de Parfum, Intense, the Le Parfum 2025, right? All of these flankers. There were even some great discontinued ones over the years, Y Eau Fresh and Y Live and stuff. So again, that's kind of where I'd be putting my money. When it comes to performance, probably your best bet, if you just want to play it as safe as possible, is just to go for the bulletproof Y EDP. This one is a powerhouse of a scent, no matter what way you cut it. It's all about the sage, the geranium, the lavender, and the amberwood. So it has that kind of blue fragrance smell from the amberwood. You get a sweet apple off the opening with all those aromatic notes that I just mentioned. So very, again, aromatic. Kind of fresh woody, but still plenty of sweetness from that apple and kind of from that amberwood tonka bean as well. So it's kind of It has a lot going on, we'll put it that way. Could be a little bit too sweet for some people in the summer months. That's where maybe you could pivot towards something different from the lineup. Maybe the Eau de Parfum Intense, less sweetness, more aromatics. So I guess you could say, well, maybe the Eau de Toilette would be good for summer wear. And I would say out of everything that they have, it would be summer appropriate. Are you going to spend that money on it to get a lesser performing product? Most people would probably not want to do that. This next one is Azzaro Chrome Parfum version. I think you're better off with just about any chrome flanker. It's no hate, it's no shade on the original chrome. It's simply just we have access to so many amazing flankers, so many amazing different takes on the DNA, so many improvements over the years. Again, there's just, when you really start looking at it that way, you've got Chrome Extreme, you've got Chrome Parfum, and even things like Chrome Pure, and of course they have several discontinued ones as well that you could choose to count if you want to or not. But as far as what you can buy, Chrome Extreme, Chrome Parfum, two amazing scents that are just worlds better than the original at this point. Better performing, more modernized and with the times, I guess you could say. The quality is improved. It's not super metallic-y and kind of screechy like the original Chrome is known for. Not to mention, you go with something like Chrome Extreme, you've got Acqua di Gio Profondo for half the price, right? Because it smells very similar. Chrome Parfum kind of is on its own here. It doesn't really try to emulate anything, at least from what I've been able to tell. It doesn't remind me of anything else. Doesn't even remind me at all of the original Chrome. This one has fir resin, sage, and bergamot. Yet another aromatic type of scent here. Very, very common DNA. You see this all over the place now. And there's nothing wrong with it. It's a nice kind of deviation from the overly sweet fragrance releases that we're also being bombarded with. It's kind of woody, a little bit earthy, but just very green. And it kind of reminds me of a kind of expensive smelling body wash. It sounds maybe a little bit lame to put it that way. Oh, it just smells like soap that you buy and you wash yourself with, right? But it's not meant to be in that way. It smells like a very clean, fresh out of the shower smell, but not like a cheap Axe body wash or something that smells like, you know, high school level grade. You know, it has, again, more of a masculine, mature type of clean soapiness, which I really like. And again, great performance here out of this true parfum. You can't go wrong with Chrome Parfum. All right, this next one is Acqua di Gio Parfum. I had to slip it in here and I won't spend a ton of time on it, but going back to exactly what I said with why Eau de Parfum, there is zero reason to buy Acqua di Gio Eau de Toilette in 2025. There simply isn't. You can't convince me otherwise. It would be a plain waste of money in most instances, of course. If it's a nostalgic scent, you wore it in high school and you want to reintroduce that into your life, you've got more of a specific reason and that makes sense. For those of you guys who are chasing compliments, chasing performance, and just trying to buy a fragrance that's going to work for you, right? You're not trying to cultivate nostalgic memories or anything like that. You just want a workhorse scent. You don't want Acqua di Gio Eau de Toilette. You want Acqua di Gio Parfum. You want Acqua di Gio Profondo, and either variant could be the Eau de Parfum, could be the Parfum. You could even go with Acqua di Gio EDP and still be better off than getting that Eau de Toilette. There are just so many options. Again, a few over the years have been discontinued, but still plenty readily available right now. Make your money work for you in the terms of buying something and not being disappointed with it and it's sitting there wasting away in your collection because you don't wear it because it doesn't perform. We don't want that. We want something that you can buy and use because it performs and works for you, and that's Acqua di Gio Parfum. Just get it. You won't be disappointed. All right, this next one, I simply forgot how good it was. I was actually a little bit frustrated at myself because this is one that was kind of sitting there, not getting a whole lot of attention, as is most of my 1 million fragrances, I have to say. But 1 million Elixir, just regular Elixir. I know they have many more released after this point, which I have, pretty much most of them. But this one, I forgot about it. I was going down here, I was making this video, I was revisiting things, and I smelled this, and I'm like, I think I missed something here because it smelled wonderful. This one has vanilla, tonka bean, cedarwood, kind of, you know, unsuspecting, right? You see those three notes then, and you're like, that doesn't sound like anything special. That's kind of why I forgot about it too. I smelled it, and I'm like, wait a minute. sweet gourmand, kind of chocolatey feel out of this one. Still getting some cedar wood in here, giving you just a little bit of a masculine balance, but it's mainly about the sweetness and the gourmand notes here. That tonka bean note is rich, it's full-bodied, it's sweet, it smells amazing. You would expect to see a tonka bean in here, and you definitely get it. And I don't know if they list this off or not, I can't remember. I almost get a little bit of a leather. Maybe not so much leather, I guess maybe it could be suede as well, or just a very light leather accord, but I get a bit of that too. Again, this smells really, really nice. Sweet gourmand, not so much from a chestnut, and maybe just the hint, slightest bit from coffee, but mostly just a chocolatey smell out of this one. Maybe even a tiny, tiny, very, very small bit of hazelnut. Again, not chestnut, but just a tiny bit. A little bit of hazelnut, slight. It smells wonderful. I really like it. And same thing, I'm, you know, a broken record here, but zero reason to buy the regular 1 million. It's just setting money on fire when you have access to all of these flankers, which, by the way, all perform better, okay? It just makes sense. You could just throw a dart at the dartboard, put up all the names of these flankers on there, just throw the dart, whichever one you land on. You've got something that performs better. Therefore, you're going to get your money's worth out of it versus wasting it away in a bottle that's sitting. This next one is Azzaro Forever Wanted Elixir. Beautiful raspberry and leather-based scent. I love it. Can't go wrong with really any of the flankers except for Tonic. I would avoid that one. It's just kind of a failed attempt at their summer release, in my opinion. It just isn't good, right? But everything else is solid. And also, again, I would avoid the original Wanted. It just, you've got options that are so much better. You could take that money and get something so much better. Forever Wanted. Wanted by Night, the most wanted parfum. Now, I know people are going to say there's a price difference. There is. You might be looking at double the price. And people are going to say, well, you know, what do I do about that? Well, if that price difference is a deal breaker for you, then don't buy the original Wanted and don't buy any of those either. Take that, let's say it's $40 for Wanted, buy another $40 scent that's better. You see where I'm coming from here? You don't need to have Wanted. You don't need to have it. If you can't make that extra, you know, $50 work to get into one of these flankers, don't buy any of them, okay? Put that money into Chrome Extreme or something else, right? But I just don't see much of a fit for the original Wanted. I think for a lot of people, it would sit there and not be utilized. But something like this, you can really get your money's worth out of. Same thing with, again, Wanted by Night, the most wanted parfum, whatever. Big improvements, really big improvements. All beast mode performance, great quality, great compliment factor as well. This next one is Tom Ford Noir Extreme Parfum. Now we're getting into something a little bit more expensive here. You can get the 50 ml option, that's available as well. I've got the 50 ml EDP. Ended up getting a pretty good deal on this 100 ml parfum, so I went for it. I understand not everybody's going to want to spend the money on these. You know, there are a lot of amazing fragrances out there. You don't need to buy Noir Extreme Parfum. Not everybody might even like this, okay? This has that Kulfi note, that sweet kind of dessert gourmand smell. You've got some cardamom thrown in here, some tonka bean. What this does is it brings in leather. That was non-existent in the Eau de Parfum, but they're bringing it in this extreme parfum version, or just, it is already extreme, but the parfum version, and it gives it a little bit more of a masculine feel. Ultimately, what this one does, big increase in performance. I never got good performance from the Eau de Parfum to the point where it was kind of a little bit of a letdown for me. I bought the bottle and just it didn't work that well in terms of performance. This one fixes that, okay? So if you want Tom Ford Noir Extreme, get the Parfum. Don't bother with the Eau de Parfum. Again, if these are out of your budget, that's perfectly fine. We've got a few more coming up here that are not going to be as expensive. Perfect example will be this next one. It's usually, I think, around $40, $45 on discounters. It's Coach Platinum, by Coach, of course. So Coach for Men Platinum has vanilla, black pepper, pineapple, cedarwood, all that stuff. Okay, what does this smell like? Well, to me, it smells like Dior Sauvage with vanilla. Sounds crazy, but think about it. The original Coach kind of is in that Sauvage DNA, right? That's what it was known for. This is similar smelling to that original Coach, but again, they're adding vanilla and they're adding pineapple. Sweet vanilla, kind of a sweet, fruity pineapple as well. You're still getting that black pepper spiciness and all the stuff that you would expect to get, but it really does smell like a sweeter version of Sauvage with vanilla and pineapple. It smells really, really good. Some leather in here as well to kind of keep it grounded and keep it on the men's side of things so it doesn't get too unisex or anything like that. I've always been a huge fan of Coach Platinum, especially because you can get it for, like I said, under $50 on discounters. The original Coach, again, probably isn't a horrible purchase if you can get it for a good price. That's probably one where I would still say, yeah, maybe you could go for the original Coach if you wanted to. However, from my personal experience, this one does perform better. That might make it the better choice for those who want performance, and if your skin chemistry is anything like mine and this performs better, then there you go. Running down to the end with Gentleman's Society Extreme. This one has coffee, iris, vanilla, cedarwood, sandalwood, and 3 types of vetiver. Yeah, they went crazy there. Not super important, the vetiver. You get a little bit of it, mostly cedar and coffee. The coffee smells amazing. I love a good coffee fragrance, and sometimes you get clickbaited. Sometimes they put coffee in the note breakdown, but coffee is nowhere to be smelled. Not the case at all. You do pick up on it. Nice roasted coffee beans here, mixing in with that iris and all the woods. It's a really well done, well blended scent. Personally, I was never a big fan of the original Society. That one was a big letdown for me, and I was excited about it going in because, well, the bottle looked cool. You know, you got the same type of logo on the front. The name, I don't know, everything about it looked promising until I smelled it and I was let down. This Extreme, huge improvement, and so is the the ombre edition as well. So if you want one that performs better and probably is just a better use for your money, I would go for something like this Extreme, especially if you like coffee. And we're gonna finish this video off with one that I really enjoy. At first I was kind of on the fence, but as I've worn it more, I've really enjoyed it. It's Tumi Awaken. This is the distilled version. This performs better than the original Awaken. Also wasn't super enthused about the original. Now, there's nothing wrong with it. I liked it okay, but I think this is a major improvement. So it has amberwood, cedarwood, patchouli, orange. You know, it's named Awaken, so you think morning, even it has 8 o'clock in the morning GMT time zone there. So yeah, this is kind of is supposed to give off a morning feel, and it does a little bit. It is kind of refreshing. It feels like you're just waking up. I don't know, maybe not, but that's kind of what they want you to think anyway. All of that marketing aside, I do enjoy how it smells, and I think that it's a big improvement over that original version. I think this is about 80, and I think you can probably get the original for about 50 if I had to guess, so you're looking at an extra $30. To me, that's more than worth it for a product that I like better, right? Especially when you consider that $30 extra spread out over, for most of us, several years, right? We're not going to finish this bottle in a year. It's going to be something we have for a long time. At that point, I have no problem tossing in the extra bit to get a version that I like better. And the only way you know that is by trying both, which I've done. I've tried the originals of everything here, and so I've been able to come to the conclusion on my own that I like the flankers better, and that's why I try to pass that information on to you guys. I might go for this one today. My scent of the day. Alrighty guys, I'm going to drop links to all these down below. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.